Well, hello everyone. You have right here of talking about whenever it comes to automatically done, and like let's just say that whenever we talk about for a redo right here, and I was able to find this note right here of talking about whenever we call for automatically done right here, and you see right here that I went ahead and scanned it, and it looks a little bit like it was generated to a computer system, right? And so just way how it looks right here that you see right here, you got that the handprint right here, and along with the ways of how it was scanned, right? So it's like so it looks a little bit like it was generated, but still. But you see right here, I'm talking about whenever it comes to redoing something. So what does it usually mean whenever you do redo something? And do you think that maybe that would be made available for any source of language, such as maybe if it's a coding language or something like that? But still, that talking about whenever you do redo something, does redo pretty much mean to where that you actually start over? And anybody might even say that whenever you do redo something, that pretty much means that you're going back and re-looking, you're reviewing all the work that you were able to do, right? And so really, is redo supposed to be an example right here of a good thing? Is that supposed to be a good thing right there whenever it comes to understanding about the work that you were working on, and maybe a few things, maybe anything that you would strongly suggest and all that, but still, but whenever we talk about what is automatically done for you. So I have right here of these different choices right here, and during the time that I was putting this together, I was just thinking too that really, what do you think is really the best answer whenever it comes to automatically done? That the work, the hard work that you put into something, and knowing what is automatically done for you, and that one thing that I did come up with was is that that you sign up for new service and anytime, anywhere, but then you have this sentence right here, and with these words of sentences right here. So it's like so really that when we do think about a redo, and of course when we do think about automatically done for you, what I'm talking about is that whenever the system automatically does it for you, but the only reason why it would do it for you is based on your previous entries. And do we think that most computer operating systems would automatically generate data based on your previous work, based on work that you were working on from about a year ago? And so we might even think too that, anything that you were working on from 2 or maybe 3 years ago will be generated, but then, that data will be collected, and that's whenever that the system's going to generate that and say as to where one problem has already been done for you right here. So, but one thing that I did learn, from over the years is the fact about you got right here is the code. So you want to know too is to where a software program, or maybe if it's maybe a new edition of a program or something like that, that you will be given this code right here, like an activation code, and usually about 6 to 8 to maybe 15 characters along that code is going to be with, and so that is why it seems that way to where that a code is it's pretty much like a language, right? It's a language that to where that you go ahead and read. I don't know if it's known for the best algorithm or something like that, but I just know that that whenever you do work on something, that most of the time what I usually hear is as it's a code that you enter. And so to me though, that I think a code is language that you're especially if you're going to be using a computer operating system, that this is like a language that you're programming your system to be able to the access. It's like a key access code right here. So like everybody might say that if you do see have a code that contains certain characters and numbers and letters right here, but how many of us are really going to see a code that's going to be called something like 65 and redo right here, maybe with the dash, and maybe with an underscore, and maybe a parenthesis, or maybe curly brackets or something like that? And so your 102 is to where with the redo right here. And so really that when we do talk about a redo right here, all we're necessarily talking about is that anybody who's any engineer or any programmer is maybe going to say is to where that redo pretty much means is to where that you start over, you got to start from scratch. But I think that there's a nickname for that in case if anybody's wondering that whenever you do hear about redo something, you'll ask you to redo this, and it's basically like a confirmation, command. It's like, for confirmation. And to me, though, I look at that more like confirmation. Whenever you're working on anything that's computer-based related, data science related, that's basically for confirmation right there. So a lot of times that whenever you talk about anything, questions and answers that were asked right here, that one of the questions is maybe going to be is toward really what is automatically done for you, and so really that a step forward would be is toward that if you know your device's system very well, that do you think that maybe that device would recognize that this is right here was the notes that you were taking from earlier? Like, this is not really readable. I don't know what this says. Person is, the person needing, to work by the professional. So you have this wording right here. If we see this right here, and you want to know too that while you were working on it, and it's like, you have right here for meeting at 5:00 p.m. Central Time right here. So let's just say that if this right here was any notes, and maybe that everybody might even think too that if you want to kind of give that to the test, to where that you will go ahead and write down a few notes, and if you were to scan it in with the computer and actually pull that up on your computer system using a photo editor, tool, software of some kind, and that you would actually see that writing, and you would see this right here to where talk about please explain this from your activity, and so it's like so if there is any reason why that the computer would actually scan this right here, the computer would actually scan this document right here, like the 102 is toward that whenever we do talk about scanning a document into the computer right here, do you think, like everybody might say, that that's whenever QR codes usually are used and recognized, right? Because we're talking about that that if most of the stuff is computer related, then it's to say it's going to ask for a code, a code number, and most of the time it's a number, but like everybody might say that what does it usually mean whenever you do have to redo something? And some people may say that it's all about starting over. You got to start from scratch, but no, it's actually it's confirmation, and like in case if anybody's wondering, to where that that's the system is actually making sure that that the person that is by the the user holder, and plus so it's like so each time you do think about that, and you want to know too that whenever you do redo something, and you're pretty much looking back at all the progress that you made so far with the work that you've been working on, right? So it's you have right here for A, B, and C, but step free forward right here, program to take action, and also anytime, anywhere, and sign up for new service right here. So you have right here is like what is automatically done for you, but I have right here I'm talking about with code right here, because I had not seen this right here known for a code command, and so everybody might say that a code command, and to where that if you do see any source of code though, and let's just say that for a code command that it's like anything that's going to be generated or anything like that, but still that how many of us are maybe going to think is this toward if you're going to be shopping online, and let's just say that that you are asked to enter a code, and let's just say that code is going to maybe contain like maybe holiday the holiday spend or something like that, the code name by holiday spend or something like that. But let's just say that there's going to be like a code right here that you would enter, and let's just say that it's going to be which causes like yeah. If I can go ahead and so you're trying to get this right here to come over, like yeah. So you have right here with the code right here, and you're 102 that hey that with this code right here that you got the code right there, but then yeah, it's for confirmation right here, and confirmation meaning is applies toward yeah that it needs to be does it mean it needs to be authorized, or does it mean to be that for gain access or something like that? But still that almost every time you do think about that, then you're 102 is toward it. Hey, that yeah, for confirmation. So really that so every time you do think about that, then you're always 102 that really what is automatically done for you in case if anybody's 102 that are the codes automatically created, or like everybody might say that they're like a two-step authentication process that you usually see that, but still that when we talk about redoing something, by the way, that a lot of people would even say too that that's another reason to say is as to where that yeah that if you're asked to redo something, you are asked to where to please make sure that everything is all correct based on your recent activity, and don't we necessarily think as toward it yeah that's usually what it means right there is toward it yeah that the system is trying to recognize your entries right there, and it's trying to recognize the work that you were working on previously, and it's trying to recognize your command right there. So more likely the computer system that you're using, by the way, is not going to be able to recognize some of this information right here. So that's one of the reasons why, like a markup language, a hypertype markup language, that's going to ask you to please confirm the code that we sent you, just for your authentication. And I guess like everybody might say that, that's maybe a little bit of a shorter version. If they don't recognize your entries, and then for sure you're going to be asked to please enter this code, so that way we can go ahead and pick up, from yeah the system that you from the last time you were actually signed into your account, and it's like a yeah just to recognize your identity, just to verify that that's you that's working, and so like everybody might say that really that sometimes it's maybe 30 minutes before you can log in, and maybe it's 30 minutes before you can actually get confirmation, just to be able to continue with your work. And so that is why it seems that way, to where that we might even think too that yeah that while you're working on something that you're warned to where that yeah well why do you have to deal with the code right here? And like everybody might say that redoing something doesn't mean that you have to start from scratch. It just means as to where please allow the system to read the program to where they can recognize the activity that's going on. So it's like every time you do think about that, then you're 102 that yeah you have right here the code right here, and usually yeah that the code the code right here is usually something like 65 up to 3 something like that. It's up to at least maybe 6, maybe 7 to maybe 12 characters long, or something like that is usually what it contains. But still, it's a lot. It's like a language. It's a language that's basically that if you have to they come from it's a confirmation code. So just to be able to recover your work from earlier, that there's going to be a code sent through two-step authentication, right? And so that's why it seems that way. That everybody else might even say too that that really that I don't really everybody might even say too that that's really something that's not really your favorite, right? You don't really consider that to be your favorite process, because of the fact that that the codes are due to expire for one. So if you do get a code, sometimes those codes are only good for 5 minutes before they expire, and then you're sent another one. But still, making sure that the work is there, just to make sure that the work is there, that there's this process right here, just for confirmation, right? But everybody might say that, yeah, what is automatically done for you? And they say the system is willing to recover your work if you are willing to verify that code that was sent to your mobile device, to that system that you have for recovery. And so that is why it seems that way toward all your hard work that you put into something, and maybe if that's true, that if all you really have to do is just provide this code that was sent to your email or sent to your phone, and but everybody might say that really, that I don't really like. I'm like, in case if anybody's want to know too, that having to remember a code, by the way, is just like having to remember a mailing address. And I guess if you want to kind of call it that, to where this is like a language. It's a it's probably language, I guess, based on algorithm, basic algorithm, and and so you're probably want to know too that it's a code, but not everybody's really going to understand that. So maybe that is why that just for security purposes, right, that they would maybe say is this toward that we would ask you to use the software, use it daily instead of every other week or so, that try to make sure that that those updates are being installed, but then make sure that you check. I'm like, up to 12 hours, and like everybody say, anything that you're working on from 12 hours ago, do we ask you to please check back to make sure that everything is processed and everything is getting updated like it should be, because like they say that what is automatically getting done for you? Well, they say is like, time can tell, but still, when we do redo something, what you basically are doing is that you are going back and reviewing everything just to make sure that everything looks correct, right? And so, like everybody might say that if you were in the meeting earlier or something like that, but I think everybody might even say too that do you think that you would much rather write a paper about it, or do you think that you would much rather read a code? I mean, I really don't know. Everybody might say that, you know what? I'll go ahead and read the code. I'm not writing a paper about it. I would rather not write a paper about it, because, writing a paper, that can be boring after a while. But still, in case of anybody's wondering that, do you think that anybody would much rather write a paper rather than having to read a code that's sent, just to be able to reprogram and reset the systems and just to be able to gain access? And I think everybody would maybe agree that that you don't really want to do it the hard way. You want to kind of do it a little bit more easier way. And maybe that is why that they say is this toward, if you want to do it the easy way, go ahead and read this code that we sent to your email and to your mobile device, so that way we can go ahead and confirm that that's you that's trying to gain access, and so that way we can go ahead and update the data. But anyway, but talk about for redo right here, and everybody might say, it's another way of saying is toward it, to look back at the work that you've already done, and just to make sure that everything looks correct and it's ready, to be processed, right? But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a good day.